After a night of restless, haunted sleep, the next morning, Nan woke feeling dizzy, constantly nauseous. She was pregnant. Fear and hope mixed inside her. She thought the child a ray of light in the darkness. She hoped that once she had a baby, Mrs. Kim and her husband would treat her better. But when she joyfully told Mrs. Kim, the woman's eyes flashed cold. Nan's heart sank. Trembling, she ran into her room, clutching her belly, then burst into uncontrollable tears. She pitied herself and her unborn child. Would it have to be born in this haunted house? Even in daylight, the cold darkness of the room wrapped around her and the unborn child, squeezing them tight. Through sobs, Nan whispered to the baby growing inside her, "My baby, I'll protect you. I'll take you back to Vietnam, back to Grandpa." But once again, her hope was quickly crushed. When Hun Jun found out that Nhan was pregnant, not only was he not happy, he was furious. He shouted, "You think you deserve to carry my child? You're just trash." He smashed his wine glass, shards flying across the floor, glittering like eyes in the darkness. She was devastated. In a dark corner of the apartment, Mrs. Kim, with pitch-black eyes, watched the scene unfold. She whispered, "It must disappear, like Ji-yoon." Nan couldn't understand why Hyun-jun and his mother had brought her here when they clearly despised her existence and seemed to be searching for a way to destroy her life. Nhan continued living in fear. That night, she heard the scratching from the locked room again, clearer than ever, as if Ji-yoon was calling. In her dream, Ji-yoon appeared wearing a torn wedding dress, clutching her belly with a large, still bleeding wound. She looked at Nhan and said, "He killed my baby, and he'll do the same to yours." Ji-yoon's voice echoed, and Nhan woke up, drenched in sweat, her hands wrapped tightly around her belly. From that moment, she knew. If she stayed in that house, she would die. She couldn't survive in a place filled only with cold stares and whispered curses. The thought of escape began to grow in her mind, to save her baby, and to save herself. One night, while Mrs. Kim was away and Hyun-jun was drunk beyond reason, Nhan gathered what little money she had, packed a few clothes, and fled the haunted house. She had no documents, she couldn't speak Korean fluently, and had no one to ask for help. She reached Busan, wandering the streets with a vacant look in her eyes. At night, she slept in market corners. During those moments, she kept thinking of her family's makeshift house near the canal. Moldy, poor. But it had warmth, it had love, it had a place to rest. After days of roaming, a kind woman offered her illegal work at a small nail salon. Each day, she worked diligently and then held her belly, whispering to her child, "As long as I earn enough money, I'll bring you home." She grew stronger than ever before, but fear always lurked nearby. No matter where she went, she still saw the ghostly bride, reflected in mirrors at the salon, shimmering in puddles on the street. A whisper always echoed in her ears. "You can't escape. Don't even try." Nhan's belly grew larger with each passing day, but because of her undocumented status, she didn't dare go to the hospital. Though the pain in her abdomen worsened, she never had a checkup. She didn't know if her baby was healthy or not. She was drowning in helplessness. Feeling sorry for her, a woman from the salon introduced her to Kim Tae-kyun, a Korean man in his 40s, unmarried, who said he could help her find a place to stay. During their first meeting, Nhan saw his gentle smile and kind-looking face. But something strange caught her attention. His eyes. They were exactly like Hyunjun's. Cold as stone. Nhan hesitated. She lay awake all night thinking, but she had no other choice. She needed a safe place for her baby, and she consoled herself. Maybe he simply wanted a wife and child, and would treat her kindly. The next morning she packed her things and left with Tae-kyun. But Tae-kyun didn't take Nhan to a home. Instead, he brought her to a rundown motel in the outskirts of Busan, room 208, on the night of November 30th, 2014. The room was small and old, its walls peeling, the air thick with mold and the stench of alcohol. Inside was an old bed, a filthy blanket, and a crooked wooden table with a bottle of liquor and a broken glass on top. Nhan felt a sense of dread. Stepping into the room was like stepping into hell once more. Still, she tried to stay calm. She walked in, sat on the bed, curled up holding her belly. Tae-kyun sat beside her, pouring himself a drink, speaking softly. "Don't be scared. I'm here to help you." That gave Nhan a small sense of comfort. He kept drinking. By the fourth glass, his eyes changed. His voice wavered, trembling. He began calling her Ji-yoon. His gaze haunted. Ji-yoon, Ji-yoon. He muttered again and again. Nhan didn't understand what was happening. Panic overtook her. She stood and ran for the door, but he blocked her path. From underneath the bed, he pulled out a kitchen knife that glinted in the dim light. He screamed, "You can't leave me! You and that baby can't live!" Nhan struggled, trying to shield her belly. She cried out, "Please don't hurt my baby!" But Tae-kyun, now seemingly possessed, stabbed her again and again. Blood soaked her shirt, poured onto the floor. In her final moment, Nhan saw Ji-yoon standing by the window, her blood-stained wedding dress clinging to her body, holding an invisible child. Ji-yoon smiled and whispered, "Now you are one with us." Then Nhan collapsed, still clutching her belly, trying to protect the child who never had a chance to be born. The next morning, Korean police found Nhan's body in room 208, dried blood staining the wooden floor. Tae-kyun hadn't fled. He was still in the room. The police arrested him and brought him in. He claimed he remembered nothing, only that he woke up beside her lifeless body. This strange case spread through Korean media. People in Busan whispered to each other. Nhan wasn't the first victim. Ji-yoon, Hyunjun's previous wife, had died the same way, while pregnant, stabbed by Hyunjun himself. And before Ji-yoon, there had been other brides. All of them swallowed by the curse of darkness. In District 4, Ho Chi Minh City, Nhan's father, a man with deep-set eyes and a weathered face, sits by the canal, holding tightly the portrait of his daughter. His hands trembled, calloused by the years brushing over Nhan's face in the photograph. He knows nothing of the curse, nothing of Ji-yoon. He only knows that his daughter promised to come back, but she never did. His youngest daughter once dreamed of a better life, pulling her family out of poverty, but she became trapped in the darkness of a gloomy house in Jeju, where secrets and blood had seeped into every wall. His heart is filled with bitterness over what happened to his little girl. If only he hadn't let her go to Korea that day. The dream of a new life had claimed the precious life of a Vietnamese girl in a foreign land. In this story, many ask the question, why did Tae-kyun, a stranger, deliver the final blow to Nhan? Tae-kyun appeared like a savior with a warm smile, promising to help Nhan find a safe place for her unborn child. But Taekyun was not a normal man. He was a puppet in the hands of darkness, the same darkness that had once controlled Hyunjun and his mother. The curse of Ji-yoon, the spirit of Hyunjun's first wife, did not only haunt Nhan, it sought out the weak-willed, those vulnerable to control, those carrying buried rage or guilt. Taekyun was a man tormented by personal failures and social pressure to preserve family honor, making him the perfect target for Ji-yoon's vengeful spirit. He no longer saw Nhan, he saw Ji-yoon, the woman he may have heard about through chilling stories whispered in Busan about a cursed house in Jeju. In his delusion, Taekyun believed Nhan was Ji-yoon, returned to mock him, to challenge the fragile control he clung to. The kitchen knife in his hand, glinting under the flickering neon light of the motel, became the instrument of the curse. This film is a rewritten story based on a real-life case involving a Vietnamese woman named Ngo Thi Nga from Haiphong, who was living in Hongcheon District, Gangwon Province. She was murdered by her Korean husband, Eun Chon, born in 1977, who later committed suicide in 2014. Fortunately, in this case, their 5-month-old child survived. Many people expressed sorrow and pointed out that such tragedies may result from the financial pressures faced by many Korean men, cultural differences, or the psychological disorders experienced by foreign brides. This story also serves as a warning for many foreign brides when deciding to entrust their lives to a stranger in a foreign land. They must thoroughly understand the background of their partner. More importantly, they must equip themselves with basic knowledge such as language, cultures, perspective, and agreements to avoid falling into the spiral of misfortune. Thank you for listening to today's story.